Welcome back to Rare US Coins, the channel where we uncover hidden treasures, forgotten stories, and the real value behind the coins you may already have in your collection or pocket. Today we are diving into one of the most fascinating and mysterious coins ever talked about in the numismatic world, the Liberty 1 cent with the 1976 D value. A coin that carries not only an incredible history but also an astonishing market worth that will blow your mind. We are talking about a value that has reached more than $779,000, an unbelievable number for what appears at first glance to be just a simple cent. Let us take a journey back in time. The Liberty 1 cent, also known as the Lincoln cent, was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Over the decades, this small copper coin has gone through different changes, different mint marks, and different designs, but every detail tells a story. In 1976, the United States Mint was busy celebrating the nation's bicentennial. Special designs were made for the quarter, half dollar, and dollar to mark 200 years of independence. But what many collectors do not realize is that the humble 1-cent piece from that year, especially the Denver Mint version, has become a treasure in its own right. Why is the 1976 D Liberty 1 cent so special? To understand that, you need to know how rare errors, conditions, and minting variations can skyrocket the value of a coin. A cent that cost only 1 penny to make can today be valued in hundreds of thousands of dollars simply because of its unique history. Coins struck in Denver in 1976 were made with precision, but in some cases, small variations slipped through. These variations became rare, and rarity always equals value. Over the years, collectors and investors began noticing the scarcity of certain high-grade 1976 D Liberty cents, and the prices started climbing. Today, a top-quality example can reach values of nearly $780,000. Imagine holding something that looks like ordinary change but is in fact a life-changing fortune. Now let us talk about the metal, the design, and the passion behind this coin. The obverse side features the iconic bust of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. His initials VDB appear subtly at the base of the shoulder on certain issues, a mark of pride that was once controversial but today is beloved by collectors. On the reverse side, we see the simple yet powerful design of the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of unity and strength. Every detail of this design adds to the history of American coinage and to the story of this particular year. The market value of the 1976 D Liberty 1 cent is truly astounding. At auctions, collectors from around the world compete for these coins. Prices climb higher and higher as demand continues to grow. Even circulated examples in lower condition can fetch more than face value, but when you step into the world of uncirculated and high-grade mint state coins, the story changes completely. Graded by professional services and preserved in perfect condition, these coins become jewels of the numismatic world. That is how we arrive at the staggering figure of more than $779,000, making it one of the most valuable pennies ever known. But it is not just about money. Owning a coin like this is about holding history in your hand. It is about feeling the weight of a nation's journey, the artistry of engravers, the legacy of Abraham Lincoln, and the bicentennial spirit of 1976. Every collector dreams of finding such a treasure, perhaps tucked away in an old jar of coins, hidden in a family drawer, or resting quietly in a collection that has not been checked for years. That is the magic of numismatics. You never know what wealth and wonder might be waiting right before your eyes. So, what should you do if you come across a 1976 D Liberty 1 cent? First, do not overlook it. Inspect it carefully, consider its condition, and if it looks promising, have it graded by a reputable service. Even a small scratch or detail can make a huge difference in value. And who knows, you might be holding a coin worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. At Rare US Coins, we are dedicated to bringing you the most exciting stories, the deepest research, and the best knowledge about coins that are often ignored or misunderstood. The 1976 D Liberty 1 cent is a shining example of how something so small can carry such enormous significance and value. If you have one in your possession, treasure it, because you may be holding one of the greatest hidden gems in American coin history. If you enjoyed this journey into the fascinating world of rare US coins, make sure to subscribe to Rare US Coins and turn on the notifications so you never miss a story that could change the way you look at your pocket change. Like this video if you are amazed by the value of the Liberty 1 cent, share it with other collectors and enthusiasts, and leave a comment below to tell us if you have ever seen or owned one of these incredible coins. Your story might inspire others and keep the passion for collecting alive. Thank you for watching Rare US Coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most legendary and talked about coins in American history, the Liberty 1 cent coin. This coin has captured the hearts of collectors for generations, and even today it holds significant value in the numismatic world. You might be surprised to know how much money one of these coins could be worth if you have it in your collection right now. The Liberty 1 cent is not just a piece of copper or metal, it is a piece of American history. Originally minted in the late 18th century and continuing through the 19th century, this iconic coin features Lady Liberty, the symbol of freedom and strength. Collectors love it because it represents the earliest years of the United States Mint. It tells the story of a new nation, struggling yet proud, building its foundation through currency that would one day become legendary. Over the years, the Liberty 1 cent coin has appeared in several different designs. Early large cents were much bigger than the pennies we use today, often called large cents because of their size and heavy weight. Each design, from the flowing hair Liberty to the draped bust, the classic head, and finally the braided hair series, holds a unique place in numismatic history. These coins were circulated by everyday Americans who may not have realized that in the future their spare change would become highly sought-after collectors' items worth thousands and sometimes even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now let's talk about the value. The market for Liberty 1 cent coins is hotter than ever, and collectors are paying serious money to acquire them. Depending on rarity, condition, and mint year, some of these coins are fetching unbelievable prices at auctions and in private sales. Currently, the average market value of rare Liberty 1 cent coins can range from a few $100s to several $1,000s. In fact, certain exceptional examples in pristine condition can skyrocket into the six-figure range. The market has seen records broken again and again. Right now, the market value of specific rare Liberty 1 cent coins has reached as high as $779,349. Yes, you heard that correctly, nearly $800,000 for a single coin. That is not just pocket change, that is life-changing money. Imagine finding one of these treasures in an old coin jar, a family heirloom, or tucked away in a box that has been sitting in an attic for decades. It happens more often than you might think, and those who recognize the rarity strike gold with their discovery. Collectors and investors alike are drawn to the Liberty 1 cent because of its historical significance and its steadily climbing value. Unlike modern coins, which are minted in the millions and billions, these older Liberty cents had limited production, and many were lost, melted down, or destroyed over time. That scarcity is what drives their value sky high in today's market. Combine that rarity with the beauty of their designs and the connection to early American history, and you have a coin that is always in demand. Let's also talk about condition, because condition is king when it comes to coins. A heavily circulated Liberty 1 cent may still be worth a nice amount of money, but if you happen to have one that is uncirculated or has been carefully preserved, then you could be holding a small fortune in your hands. Collectors pay premiums for sharp details, clear dates, and minimal wear. Some coins are graded by professional services, and those with higher grades often set auction records. What makes this story even more interesting is that values continue to rise. The coin market has remained strong, and coins like the Liberty 1 cent have proven to be not just collectibles but also long-term investments. People who bought these coins years ago for a few $100s are now seeing values in the tens of thousands or even more. That is why so many collectors are passionate about building collections and holding onto these pieces of history. So what should you do if you think you have a Liberty 1 cent coin? First, handle it carefully and do not clean it, because cleaning can damage the coin and lower its value significantly. Then, consider having it appraised by a reputable coin dealer or sent to a grading service to authenticate it. Even if you are not sure which variety you have, it is always worth checking, because you never know if your coin could be one of those rare examples worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. The Liberty 1 cent is more than just a coin, it is a treasure from America's past, a collectible that connects us to the very roots of the nation. It tells a story of freedom, craftsmanship, and endurance. And today, it continues to inspire collectors and investors around the world. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey into the history and value of the Liberty 1 cent coin. If you enjoy learning about rare coins that are worth a lot of money, make sure you subscribe to Rare US Coins, like this video, and share it with your friends. You never know who might be sitting on a hidden fortune without realizing it. Stay tuned for more videos where we uncover the secrets of America's rarest and most valuable coins. This is Rare US Coins. Today we are going to talk about one of the most fascinating pieces in the world of numismatics, the Liberty 1 cent coin, focusing especially on the 1983 Lincoln cent, its history, how to identify valuable varieties, and why some of these coins can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars in today's market. When we talk about the 1 cent coin, most people immediately picture the familiar Lincoln cent that we use every day, but behind this simple copper-colored coin lies a long and rich history that goes all the way back to the very birth of the United States Mint. The very first large cents, often called Liberty cents, were struck in the late 1700s and featured the portrait of Lady Liberty. Over the years the design of the cent has changed many times, from the flowing hair Liberty to the draped bust, the classic head, the coronet, the flying eagle, the Indian head, and eventually the Lincoln cent introduced in 1909. Every design tells a story about the era in which it was created, and collectors around the world value these coins not just for their metal but for the history they hold. Now let's jump forward in time to the year 1983. This year is especially important for collectors of Lincoln cents. In 1982 the United States Mint changed the metal composition of the cent. Up until then, Lincoln cents were mostly made of copper, but because of rising copper prices, the Mint switched to a copper-plated zinc planchet. The new cents weighed only 2.5 grams compared to the older copper cents that weighed 3.1 grams. This switch created many varieties, transitional errors, and confusion among collectors, and it set the stage for one of the most valuable modern cents ever discovered, the 1983 Lincoln cent. So what makes the 1983 penny so special? At first glance it looks like just another ordinary coin in your pocket change. But if you look closely you will find that some 1983 cents were accidentally struck on the old copper planchets instead of the new zinc ones. This mistake is what collectors call an off-metal error. Because the Mint had leftover copper planchets from 1982, a small number of them slipped into the presses in 1983, creating these rare and valuable transitional error coins. Another major variety to look for in the 1983 cent is the double die reverse. In this variety, the word 1 cent and the phrase e pluribus unum on the back of the coin appear doubled under magnification. This doubling was the result of a misalignment in the hubbing process used to create the coin dies. Collectors treasure these double die coins because they are strikingly clear examples of minting errors, and they can be worth an incredible amount of money. Now let's talk about value. The 1983 Lincoln cent can sell for an astounding price if you have the right variety. Some of the copper transitional error coins have sold at auction for more than $15,000. But even more shocking, certain 1983 double die cents have been valued in the hundreds of thousands. The market has seen examples graded in top condition reach upwards of $79,350 and beyond. Yes, you heard that right, a single penny that might still be hiding in your change jar could be worth more than a brand new luxury car. When you think about it, this is what makes coin collecting so exciting. A coin that most people would overlook as just a cent can actually hold life-changing value if you know what to look for. And this is why knowledge is the true key in numismatics. If you can identify a rare variety, spot the difference between copper and zinc, recognize a double die, and understand the grading system, you could turn a common-looking coin into a major discovery. For those who are new to the hobby, let me give you some quick tips. Always check your pennies from the early 1980s. Weigh them on a small digital scale. If your 1983 cent weighs 3.1 grams, you may have one of the rare copper transitional errors. If it weighs 2.5 grams, it is the normal zinc issue. Also examine the reverse with a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to look for doubling on the lettering. These simple checks can make a huge difference and might just uncover a fortune sitting right under your nose. Collectors and investors are paying big money for these coins today because they are not only scarce but also historically important. They represent the change in U.S. coinage from copper to zinc, they show how minting technology can sometimes produce fascinating errors, and they remind us that even the smallest denomination coin can become a legendary rarity. So next time you get change from a store, take a moment to look at your pennies. That 1983 DUC might not just be worth 1 cent. It could be worth thousands or even hundreds of thousands depending on the variety. That wraps up today's deep dive into the Liberty 1 cent and the incredible story of the 1983 D Lincoln cent. If you found this video interesting and want to learn more about rare coins, hidden treasures, and the stories behind them, make sure to subscribe to Rare US Coins, hit the like button, and share this video with your friends. Your support helps us keep bringing you the knowledge you need to discover the value hiding in plain sight. Thanks for watching Rare US Coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in United States history, the Liberty 1 cent coin, a piece that has captured the imagination of collectors and investors for generations. Whether you are an experienced numismatist, a new collector just starting out, or someone curious about the incredible values these coins can reach in today's market, this video will give you everything you need to know about the Liberty 1 cent, its history, its designs, its rare variations, and of course, its current market value. The Liberty 1 cent, sometimes called the large cent in its earliest forms, was not just an everyday coin. It represented the foundation of American money and the growth of a young nation finding its identity. The very first issues of these coins were struck in the late 18th century, with the flowing hair design of 1793. These early coins, massive in size compared to modern cents, showed Lady Liberty with her long flowing hair, a symbol of freedom and strength. They were heavy, copper-rich pieces that stood out in commerce and in the pockets of early Americans. Over time, the design of the Liberty 1 cent went through several changes. From the chain cent and wreath cent of 1793, to the Liberty cap design of the late 1790s, to the draped bust style, and later the matron head and braided hair designs of the 19th century, each version of the Liberty cent tells us something about the art, the politics, and the values of the era in which it was struck. Collectors today cherish these changes because every design shift creates new rarities, new varieties, and new stories, but what truly excites collectors and investors alike is the potential value of these coins in the modern marketplace. While a common Liberty cent in worn condition might only be worth a modest amount, rare dates and well-preserved examples can reach astonishing prices. Some specimens have sold at major auctions for hundreds of thousands of dollars. In fact, the highest reported value of a Liberty 1 cent coin has reached an incredible $779,351, nearly $800,000 for a single cent. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that once passed through the hands of ordinary Americans, now worth more than many houses or luxury cars. So why are these coins worth so much money today? There are several reasons. First is rarity. Many of the earliest Liberty cents were struck in very limited numbers, sometimes fewer than 20,000 pieces, and over 2 centuries of time most of those coins were lost, melted, or damaged. Second is condition. A Liberty cent with sharp detail, bold strike, and attractive color can multiply in value compared to the same date in worn condition. Third is collector demand. The story of America's first coinage, the artistry of the Liberty designs, and the sheer size and weight of these old copper pieces make them irresistible to collectors. Finally, certain varieties, like overdates or unique die pairings, create extreme rarity and sky-high auction records. Now let's talk about the current market. As of today, Liberty 1 cent coins are hot in the numismatic community. Prices continue to rise as more collectors enter the market, and the highest-end examples are bringing record-breaking figures. While not every Liberty cent is worth a fortune, even average coins are climbing in value due to their age and scarcity. A circulated common date braided hair cent from the mid-19th century might sell for $20 to $50, while rarer dates from the early 1800s can range into the thousands. And as we mentioned earlier, the rarest of all Liberty 1-cent coins, particularly those from the first year of issue 1793 or coins with unique varieties, can break into the hundreds of thousands of dollars, with the market peak standing proudly at $779,351. Collectors love these coins not only for their monetary worth but also for the tangible connection they offer to American history. Imagine the Liberty cent sitting in the pocket of a farmer in 1795, a shopkeeper in 1820, or a Civil War soldier in the 1860s. Each coin carries a story, each scratch or mark is a reminder of the hands that held it, and owning one today is like owning a piece of living history. So if you are thinking about collecting Liberty 1-cent coins, what should you do? First, learn as much as you can. Knowledge is the most valuable tool a collector can have. Study the designs, the mintages, and the varieties. Second, focus on quality. A single high-grade example can often outperform a whole collection of lower-grade coins. Third, consider rarity. Seek out dates and varieties that are scarcer in the marketplace. And finally, buy from reputable dealers or auctions to ensure authenticity. At Rare U.S. Coins, we believe that every coin tells a story. The Liberty 1-cent is more than just an old piece of copper. It is a reminder of America's beginnings, a work of art from master engravers, and a tangible investment with proven long-term growth in value. From its humble beginnings in 1793 to its record-breaking auction prices today, the Liberty 1-cent has earned its place as one of the most fascinating and valuable coins in the entire world of numismatics. So the next time you see an old copper cent, take a closer look. You might just be holding a piece of history worth far more than its face value. Thank you for watching Rare US Coins.